Welcome back to our C10 LS swap series, part 5. In this video, we're gonna run our cooling system, mount our radiator, run our hoses, connect our steam port line, run our fuel lines, set up our fuel system in the tank, and mount our regulator and fuel filter. You're gonna cut the outer and the two outer lines. The bigger one's gonna be your supply. The medium one will be your return. The center, the smallest one would be a vent hose. Okay, and then we need 2 compression fittings to 6AN. I believe this one is 3/8 and the return is a 7/16. It basically goes on like that. Then you put your ring, your compression ring, and then your fitting. It should look just like that when we're done. All right, there it is. We got our compression to 6AN fittings on there. We got our power and ground hooked up, our feed line, filter. It's ready to go in the tank. All right, put your new seal in there. Fuel system is set up. Now we could put our tank straps and put it on the frame. Leave the straps a little loose to remove. Once you get it matched up on the frame, you could tighten them down. It'll be easier to line up all the holes from the straps to the frame. Before we actually put our gas tank up there, we'll put 2 fittings on our fuel line, one on each end. Has to bottom out, both of these, this top nut and this bottom. Give it a good pull. This one's ready. Go ahead and get it started. Spin it on clockwise. You'll see it bottom out all the way in there. It'll almost touch right where the threads end inside. Okay. Spray on the fitting. Tying it until it bottoms out. All right. So now that we've got one fitting on each end of our line, it's not cut, we'll put them over the frame, get them tied on to our fittings on the fuel tank, and just let them go right over the frame right there. All right, once you got them tied down, make sure to make note of which one's which. The one on the inside here, that is our fuel supply. The one on the back side over here, that is our return. So now we could go ahead and lift the tank, get our harness above the frame as well. Now that we know where our strap needs to go, we'll tighten down this strap bolt. The rear strap bolt you could get through this hole. It's larger than the one in the front, so than the one back here. So all right, let's go. Let's back up. Started. All right, tank's mounted. This is our supply. This is our return line. We'll cut that once we move the fuel line over and see where we're gonna put our fuel pressure regulator. We'll cut the lines. I'll mount it right there. So we have our in, we have our out to our fuel rail, and this is the return back to the tank. So return would be on the bottom, the longer fitting. about right there. Starting by hand. All right, the inside one, that's our supply. This is our return. Route it back through there. So we got our fuel line, we got our return, we got our filter. And the only thing we have left, we'll put a line here, straight to the rail. And that'll complete the fuel line. So we got our line hooked up. Filter, regulator, fuel lines all the way to the tank. Now we'll lower it and get the fuel line hooked up to the rail. For the rail, we're gonna use one of these. I believe it's the 3/8. This one's a smaller one. If you have two lines on your fill rail, you'll use both of these. This one will be your return, this one will be your supply. On this one here, it has just the supply. That's why we use the Corvette regulator. There you have it. Fuel line is set up. Put it right there. Put a little cable tie on there. Get out of the way from the exhaust. All right, next thing we'll do, we'll jump on the cooling system. Show you how to get the water pump fitting on there so we can hook up our steam port line. To tap the water pump, you're gonna need a 1/8" MNPT by 1/4" fitting. You're gonna need a, let me see, what size was that? 11/32 drill bit and an 1/8" MNPT tap. Drill out the water pump, install that with some sealant, you're good to go. All right, once you got your water pump tapped, get some sealant. Some thread sealant. All right, we got our fitting on there. Now we're gonna blow the water pump out, wash it out, make sure there's no shavings in there, and then we'll install it back on the motor. All right, we got the water pump bolted down. Next, we will connect our steam port line, run it back there, and then put on our belts. Get a clamp that fits over it. Hook it up to our fitting. That's it for the steam port. Next we'll install the AC belt and serpentine belt. All right. So we got our belts on, we got our steam port hooked up. Now we'll drop in the radiator and hook up the coolant lines. All right, make sure you got your rubber bushings on the bottom. All right, our radiator hoses are on. We'll finish up our heater hoses. And that'll be pretty much it for the cooling system other than the fan wiring. All right, we got our radiator hoses hooked up. Upper and lowers. You got our heater hoses hooked up. All right, so that's gonna wrap up our part 5. Next video we put out, we're gonna do the full electrical. We'll wire up our fuel pump, wire in our harness to our bulkhead, hook up our E-fans, and get all the electrical done. Last thing we'll do in that video is install the drive line and do our first startup. And that should wrap it up for this build series. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.